The distress signal had been looping for 183 years. No one answered it. No one even came close. Because the sector it came from had a name, one spoken quietly, if at all. A dead zone, a place where ships vanished, systems failed, and even the stars seemed dimmer. But the salvage vessel kestrel, 9 didn't believe in ghost stories. Prophet didn't care about fear. Captain Ryland stood at the front of the bridge, staring at the drifting wreck, now filling their forward view. Its hull was jagged, peeled open like something had clawed its way out, or in. Faint markings ran along the side, almost erased by time, but still readable. Human. Confirm identification, Ryland said, voice steady. Confirmed, replied Varric, the ship's sensor officer. Designation matches early human deep-range vessels. Pre-expansion era very old. Life signs. A pause. None. That should have been the end of it. No life. No threat. Easy salvage. But something in the silence lingered too long. Then why is it still broadcasting? One of the crew muttered. No one answered that. The airlock cycle took longer than expected. Their docking clamps latched onto a human vessel with a heavy metallic groan that echoed through the Kestrel 9. The sound seemed loud. Too loud, like the void itself was listening. Atmosphere inside is thin but stable, Varric reported. No toxins. Minimal pressure variance. Good enough, Ryland said. We go in, grab anything valuable, and get out. No wandering. No heroics. A few nervous chuckles followed. They needed it, because even without life signs, something felt wrong. The inner airlock door opened with a reluctant hiss. Darkness waited on the other side, not the soft absence of light they were used to in space, but something thicker, heavier. Their suit lights flickered on, cutting narrow beams through the black. Dust floated in the air like frozen ash. No movement, no sound, nothing. Ryland stepped forward first, boots echoing softly against the metal floor. The others followed, their breathing controlled, measured. This place is dead, someone whispered. It should have been comforting. It wasn't. The corridor stretched ahead, lined with torn panels and exposed wiring. Deep scratches ran along the walls, long, uneven grooves that didn't match any tool. Ryland paused, running a gloved hand near one of them. Damage report? He asked. Varric scanned it. Unknown. Not consistent with decompression. Not weapon fire either. Then what made it? No answer. Of course not. They moved deeper. Every step seemed to echo farther than it should. Every shadow felt just a little too still. And then it happened. A sound. So faint that at first, Ryland thought it was just interference in his comms. A low, steady rhythm. Inhale. Exhale. He froze. Did you hear that? He asked quietly. Hear what? Came the reply. There was again. Inhale. Exhale. Slow. Measured. Close. Ryland's pulse spiked. Audio. Isolate that signal. Varric's hands moved quickly over his scanner. I'm not picking up anything. No movement. No biological activity. That's not possible, Ryland said, because the sound was still there. Clearer now. Breathing. The rest of the crew went silent. They heard it too. You could not hear it once it settled into your mind, that steady, deliberate rhythm, like something was standing just out of sight, watching them. Inhale, one of them whispered unconsciously. Exhale. Stop that. Another snapped, but it didn't matter. The sound wasn't coming from them. It was coming from the ship. Locate it, Ryland ordered, his voice tighter now. I'm trying, Varric said, a hint of unease creeping in. But there's nothing there. No heat signatures. No movement. It's like what? Like the ship itself is breathing. No one laughed. The lights flickered, just for a second. But in that second, the sound changed. It got closer. Inhale. Exhale. Right behind them. They spun around as one, weapons raised, lights cutting wildly through the darkness. Nothing. Empty corridor. Floating dust. Silence. The breathing stopped. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. Then, slowly, carefully, Ryland lowered his weapon. Probably pressure fluctuations, he said, forcing calm into his tone. Old systems. echoes in the hull. It sounded reasonable. It felt like a lie. "Captain," Varek said quietly. "What?" "There's something else." Ryland turned. "What now?" Varek hesitated. Then he tilted his scanner so the captain could see. "Still no life signs," he said. A beat passed. "Then what am I looking at?" Varek swallowed. "Motion tracking." On the display, a faint outline pulsed. Humanoid, standing at the far end of the corridor, exactly where their lights didn't reach. Not moving, not breathing. Inhale. The sound returned. Louder, closer. The shape on the scanner shifted, just slightly, as if it had taken a step forward. And then, all at once, the breathing stopped. No one spoke. No one moved. The silence after the breathing stopped felt worse than the sound itself. Captain Ryland's eyes stayed locked on the motion tracker in Varek's trembling hands. The faint humanoid outline still flickered at the edge of the scanner's range. Unstable, like it wasn't fully there. "Tell me that's interference," Ryland said. Varek didn't answer. "Tell me," Ryland repeated, sharper this time. "I can't confirm that," Varek admitted. "It's reading as movement, but there's still no heat signature. No biological markers. It shouldn't be possible." A crew member behind him whispered. "Then what is it?" No one had an answer. Ryland raised his weapon again, aiming into the darkness ahead. "Lights forward. Slow advance," he ordered. Their beams stretched down the corridor, cutting through drifting particles, but still falling short of the exact place where the scanner said the figure stood. Too far. Always just out of reach. "Close the distance," Ryland said. Step by step they moved, boots echoing, breasts tight, weapons ready. The outline on the scanner didn't retreat. It didn't charge. It just waited. 10 steps forward. 5, 3, contact in 2 meters, Varek whispered. The lights finally reached the end of the corridor, illuminating. Nothing. Empty metal walls. Torn wiring. Dust. The shape on the scanner vanished. "What?" someone snapped. "Where did it go?" "I didn't lose it," Varek insisted. "It just stopped." Ryland said. "No!" Varek whispered, eyes wide. "It moved." A sudden clang echoed behind them. Loud, sharp, too close. They spun around instantly, lights snapping back the way they came. The corridor behind them wasn't the same. The walls were different, scratched, not lightly, not like before. These marks were deep, violent, layered over each other as if something had raked the metal again and again in desperation or rage. "Those weren't there," one of the crew said, voice shaking. "They were," another replied quickly. "We just didn't see them." But no one believed that. "Stay focused," Ryland said. "We're not splitting up. We move as one." "Captain," Varek said slowly. Ryland turned. "What now?" Varek pointed his scanner toward the floor. "There's a trail. Faint, barely visible, but under the right angle of light. There it was. A smear. Dark. Dried. Dragging forward through the corridor. "Blood?" someone asked. Varek scanned it. "Not human." "Then what is it doing on a human ship?" Another whispered. No one wanted to answer that. "Follow it," Ryland ordered. They didn't argue, because standing still felt worse. The trail led them deeper into the ship. The air grew heavier, colder. Their lights flickered more often now. Brief dips into darkness that felt just a little too long. And every time the lights came back, something felt closer. The trail ended at a doorway, half open, bent inward like something had forced its way through. "On me," Ryland said. He pushed the door. It groaned loudly as it gave way, and the smell hit them first. Rot, metal, something sharp and wrong that didn't belong in any living system. Their lights swept inside and froze. The body lay crumpled against the far wall, twisted, broken, not human. Its limbs, too many of them, were bent at impossible angles. Its outer shell was split open, as if something had torn through it from the outside or ripped it apart piece by piece. "What is that?" someone whispered. "No idea," Varek said, "but it's not registered in any known species database. Cause of death, Rylan asked. Varric didn't even need to scan. You're looking at it, he said quietly. The walls around the body were worse, covered in scratches, deep gouges, and something else. Marks, not random, intentional. Rylan stepped closer, his light focusing on the far wall, lines carved into the metal, rough, jagged, uneven, but unmistakably shaped. Language. Human. He read it out loud before he could stop himself. Don't. His voice faltered slightly. Wake. The last word felt heavier. IT. Silence swallowed the room. Thick, oppressive. Someone let out a shaky breath. Wake what? They asked. No one answered. A soft sound echoed behind them. Not loud, not sudden, just enough to be noticed. Inhale. Every single one of them froze. Slowly, painfully slowly, they turned their lights toward the doorway. The corridor outside was empty, but the darkness beyond it felt deeper now, wider, like it had stretched while they weren't looking. Exhale. Closer this time. Much closer. Varric's scanner slipped slightly in his grip. Rylan didn't need to look at it. He already knew what it would show. Captain, Varric whispered. Don't, Rylan said. But it was too late. It's behind us. Fearful face. No one turned around. Not at first. Because turning around would make it real. And right now, standing frozen in that narrow, broken room, reality was the one thing none of them wanted. Captain, Varric's voice cracked. It's not on the scanner anymore. Rylan's grip tightened around his weapon. That's not better. No, Varric whispered. It's worse. Inhale. Right behind them. Rylan moved first. Fast. He spun around, weapon raised, light snapping across the room. Nothing. No figure. No movement. No sound. Clear, one of the crew shouted, though their voice lacked any confidence. That's impossible, another said. It was right. A sudden metallic slam cut them off. The door. It snapped shut, hard. The impact echoed through the chamber like a gunshot. For a split second, no one reacted. Then chaos hit. Open it, Rylan barked. Two crew members rushed forward, slamming their hands against the control panel. Nothing. Dead. No power, one shouted. Override it. I'm trying. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then dimmed to a low, unstable glow. Shadows stretched along the walls, twisting the already jagged scratches into something that looked almost alive. Captain, Varric said slowly. Rylan didn't turn. What now? Varric lifted the scanner again. It's back. Where? Rylan snapped. Varric didn't answer immediately. His eyes were fixed on the screen. Wide. Unblinking. Varric, Rylan said, more controlled now. Talk to me? It's, Varric swallowed. It's not at the door. A pause. It's not in the corridor. Another pause. His voice dropped to a whisper. It's in the room. Every muscle in Rylan's body went rigid. Location. Varric's hand shook as he slowly raised the scanner higher. Higher, until it pointed at the ceiling. A faint creak echoed above them. Soft, almost gentle. Rylan's light snapped upward. The beam cut through the dimness. And for just a fraction of a second, something moved. Fast. Too fast to see clearly. A blur slipping across the ceiling, vanishing into the darkness beyond the broken panels. Contact! Someone shouted, firing instinctively. The shot hit metal, sparks flying, but whatever had been there was gone. Ceiling's compromised, another yelled. It's moving through the ducts. Track it, Rylan ordered. I can't lock it. Varric said, It's everywhere. It's not staying still. The breathing returned. Not behind them. Not in front. Above. Around. Inside the walls. Inhale. From the left. Exhale. From the right. Inhale. Above them. It's playing with us, someone whispered. A sharp scream cut through the room. Short. Sudden. Gone. Rylan spun toward the sound. One of his crew was missing. No struggle. No blood. Just gone. Where did he go? Another shouted, panic rising fast now. No answer. Only exhale right next to them. Back to back. Ryland ordered. Form up. They tightened into a circle, weapons aimed outward, lights overlapping in a desperate attempt to eliminate every shadow. It didn't work. There were too many. Captain, we need to get out. Varric said, this isn't salvage anymore, this is... I know what this is. Ryland snapped, but he didn't say it out loud, because giving it a name would make it worse. The control panel sparked suddenly. Then, with a heavy mechanical groan, the door unlocked. Everyone froze. No one touched it. That wasn't me. The crew member at the panel said immediately, I didn't do anything. Slowly, the door slid open. Darkness waited on the other side, deeper than before, thicker, and from within it, a shape, not moving, not attacking, just standing there. Humanoid. Ryland raised his weapon, his voice barely holding steady. Identify yourself. No response. Do it now, he shouted. The figure stepped forward, slowly, deliberately, into the edge of the light. A face emerged from the darkness. Pale, still, eyes open, unblinking. Human. A ripple of confusion spread through the crew. That's impossible, someone said. Humans don't survive this long, another added. No life support, no food, no. The human tilted its head slightly, as if listening. Then it took a breath. Inhale. The sound was identical, perfectly identical. Every member of the crew felt it at once. That same cold realization, that same sinking dread. It's the source, Varric whispered. The human didn't move any closer, didn't raise a weapon, didn't speak. It just stood there, breathing, watching. Ryland forced his voice to stay steady. You're alive, he said. You're human. You understand me. A long pause followed. Then, very slowly, the human smiled. And when it finally spoke, its voice was dry, cracked, but calm. You shouldn't have opened the door. Fearful face. No one fired. Even with weapons raised, no one pulled the trigger, because something about the human made it impossible. Not fear, not hesitation. Something deeper. Instinct. The human stood in the doorway, half lit by their flickering beams. Its skin was pale, stretched too tight over sharp features. Its eyes, wide, unblinking, reflected the light without warmth. But it was a stillness that felt wrong. No sway, no shift in posture, no wasted movement. Like a statue that had learned how to breathe. Inhale. The sound echoed through the corridor again. Perfect, measured, controlled. Ryland steadied his aim, stepped forward, slowly. The human didn't obey. It didn't resist either. It simply stayed where it was, watching them. You're human, Ryland continued. This is a salvage operation. Identify yourself. A pause. Then the human's lips parted slightly. I did, it said softly. Its voice scraped like something in use for a very long time. You just didn't listen. A chill ran through the entire crew. That signal, Varric whispered. The distress beacon. The human's eyes shifted just slightly toward him. Yes. Then why are you still broadcasting it? Ryland demanded. Another pause. The human's head tilted again, as if considering the question. To bring you here. Silence. Heavy. Immediate. Someone behind Ryland took a step back. No, that's not. A blur of motion cut him off. Fast. Too fast. The human was suddenly inside the room. No one saw it cross the distance. No one saw it move. It was just there. The crew member who had stepped back froze mid-breath, then slowly looked down. A hand, too steady, too precise, was pressed against his chest. Not striking, not tearing, just resting there. You make too much noise, the human said quietly. The crew member opened his mouth and collapsed. No scream, no struggle, just silence. The human stepped back, calm, unhurried. The body hit the floor with a dull metallic thud. Screams erupted, weapons fired. Bright flashes lit the room as bolts tore through the space where the human had been. But it wasn't there anymore. Where is it? Someone shouted. I lost it. Varric yelled. It's not on the scanner. Again. Inhale. right beside them. Another shot fired wildly into the darkness. Missed. It's too fast, one of them cried. We can't track it. The human's voice came again, not from one place, from everywhere. Soft. Close. I learned. Exhale. How to wait. A shadow flickered across the far wall, gone before the light could catch it. How to listen. The breathing shifted, closer to Rylan now. How to hunt. Rylan spun, firing instinctively. The shot slammed into the wall, just inches from where the human now stood, watching him. Up close. Too close. For the first time, Rylan saw it clearly. Not just a human. Not anymore. Its muscles moved differently. Too efficiently. No wasted tension. Its eyes tracked every micro-movement, every breath, every twitch. Predicting. Calculating. You adapted, Varric whispered, horrified. The human's gaze flicked toward him again. Yes. A step forward. Slow this time. Deliberate. You came into the dark, it said. Another step. You brought the noise. Rylan tried to steady his aim, but his hands weren't obeying the way they should, because the human wasn't threatening them, not in the way he understood. It was certain. You woke me. The lights flickered violently. Then darkness swallowed the room. Total. Absolute. For one heartbeat. Nothing existed. Then, inhale, right behind Rylan. He turned. Too late. A rush of air. A blur of motion. And then, silence. The lights sputtered back to life. Rylan was gone. Only 3 of them remained now. Varric stood frozen, scanner shaking in his grip. It's not a survivor, he whispered. Across the room, in the dim, flickering light, the human stood once more, perfectly still, watching them, waiting, and then it smiled again. Now, it said softly, it's just hunting. Fearful face. Varric couldn't feel his hands anymore. The scanner trembled anyway. 3 of them left. That was all. 3 in a ship that was never empty. No one spoke, because speaking meant sound, and sound meant inhale. It came from somewhere above. The remaining crew pressed closer together, backs nearly touching, weapons raised in every direction. Their lights flickered weakly now, beams cutting through a darkness that felt alive, shifting, listening. We can still make it, one of them whispered. We just have to reach the airlock. Varric didn't respond, because the scanner was no longer showing one signal. It was showing 3. Varric, the 3rd crew member said slowly, why are there 3 readings? Varric swallowed. His voice barely came out. Because it's moving too fast. Exhale, from the left. No, Varric whispered, eyes locked on the display. Not fast. His grip tightened. Multiple. Silence crushed the room. That's not possible, one of them said, shaking his head. There was only one. We saw it. We saw what it wanted us to see, Varric replied. A faint sound echoed down the corridor outside. A footstep, soft, deliberate, then another from a different direction, and another behind them. The breathing returned. Not one rhythm, not one presence. Many. Inhale, inhale, inhale. The crew broke. Run. They didn't wait for orders. Didn't think. Didn't look back. They bolted into the corridor, lights swinging wildly as panic took over. The ship had changed. The path they came through, gone. Corridors twisted into unfamiliar shapes. Doors that had been open were now sealed. Walls seemed closer, narrower, like the ship itself was tightening around them. It's trapping us, one shouted. No, Varric gasped between breaths. It's hurting us. A shadow flickered ahead. They skidded to a halt. The human stood there, blocking the path. Perfectly still. Exhale. They turned. Another figure stood behind them. Same shape, same stillness, same breathing. No, 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 one of them stammered. A 3rd shape appeared to their right. 3 humans, all identical, all watching. Varric's mind snapped into clarity for a single terrible moment. It learned us, he whispered. It learned how we see, how we track. The first human tilted its head, then the second, then the third. Perfect synchronization. You split up, one of the crew said, voice breaking. We can get past them if we split. A blur. He was gone, not dragged, not attacked, just erased from the space he occupied. Varric didn't even scream. He couldn't, because now there was only one of him left. The three humans turned toward him, slowly, deliberately. Please, Varric whispered, backing away. We didn't know, we thought. You heard it, one of them said. You came anyway, another added. The third took a step forward. You opened the door. Varric's back hit the wall. Nowhere left to go. The scanner slipped from his hand, clattering to the floor. Its screen flickered one last time. For signals. Varric stared at it, confused. There's only three, he whispered. Behind him. Inhale. His eyes widened slowly. Oh. The lights died. Total darkness. For a moment, there was nothing. Then, silence. Far away, deep in the void, the Kestrel. 9 drifted quietly beside the ancient human ship. No movement. No signals. Then, the distress beacon pulsed again. Stronger now. Clearer. And a new transmission spread across the stars. A voice. Calm. Steady. Human. If you can hear this, we are not alone. A pause. They breathe in the dark. Another pause. And now, the faint sound echoed through the transmission. Inhale. So do we. The signal looped. Endlessly. And somewhere light years away, another ship changed course. Drawn in by a voice that sounded almost alive. On the drifting wreck, an airlock door slowly opened. Darkness waited inside. And from within it, something took a breath. Fearful face.